Welcome to PR Powerhouse, helping female entrepreneurs to get in the press and to gain PR. I'm Jo Swan, and I'll be sharing how to harness the power of the media to boost your credibility and business visibility, no matter what stage in business you're at. Because I'm on a mission to show you that PR is not just for the big boys. In this show, you'll learn how to reach out to journalists and own your place in the press, because you are ready to become a PR powerhouse. Hello, and welcome back to PR Powerhouse. I hope you are having a fabulous week. I hope you're setting yourself up for a fabulous week. I hope you have things planned in your diary that's going to make PR a part of your week. I hope you're doing something this week that is really making a difference in terms of raising the bar on your visibility, that's moving that dial in terms of you just getting out there that little bit more, you being that little bit more prepared to share a little bit more of you. And today I'm bringing you another fabulous guest who has absolutely been prepared to share her. It's been a journey for her. It's taken her some time to understand how to do it, how to make this work for her, how to make it all make sense. So I'm delighted to share with you another interview today. So today I'm super excited to follow on with my interviews for my clients and to bring people to you, to bring people to life so that we can bring PR to life a little bit more. I just feel like you hearing from other people about their experiences with PR really helps. There's just some of those light bulb moments sometimes, because you've heard me talk about it a million times, but when you hear someone else talk about it in their perspective, I think it helps you think about things in a different way. So today I am bringing you the fabulous, the glorious Jenna McKenzie. Hello.
Hello, Jo. How you doing? Hello, listeners.
Do you know what? I was thinking about this the other day about like how long we've known each other and what we've done together, and we've done loads. And I think actually one of my first podcasts as a guest might have been on your podcast.
Yes, it was, wasn't it?
A long time ago, wasn't it?
All about imposter syndrome, weren't we? On the podcast, yeah.
It was all about imposter syndrome. And I remember being dead nervous. I remember thinking, oh my God, like, I hope I get my message across right. I hope I sound all right. I hope, like, because I didn't have any tech stuff either. I was like, I hope it's going to not ruin her podcast. And I remember feeling really nervous about it. But it was a really great chat, wasn't it?
Really good podcast, yeah. Really good. And such an amazing subject to talk about. Syndrome that, you know, is rife in many of our lives.
Absolutely. And we are definitely going to cover it today. And actually, I think I might put the link to your podcast in the show notes so that people can go and listen to it from that perspective as well, because I suppose in that podcast I talk a bit more about my story and connection with imposter syndrome, and seeing the two together might be dead interesting actually.
Yeah,
I will do that. Yes, I will do that. Little musing. So Jen, please introduce yourself and tell everybody who you are and what you do right now. What is your business that you run at the moment?
Okay, so I'm Jennifer McKenzie. So I own my physical business, which is Lunar Spirit Wellbeing. And I also have my online coaching business, which I am the Conscious Living Coach. So I run the two simultaneously, and it's quite a lot of work, which then now I am looking at expanding both of them. So yeah, it's all busy here behind the scenes, and I absolutely love it. So my main job, the main thing that I do within my businesses is I coach people with anxiety and mindset. And I also teach Reiki. They are the main things that I do.
Yeah. And I love the fact that actually, do you know what? You've wrapped up everything that you care about and believe in such a gorgeous package. Like there's so many different ways that people can access you. There's so many different ways that people can get your help and your support, whether they really need that in-depth coaching support or whether they just want to tap into a bit more of the lighter well-being stuff. Like there's ways that you can spread your message and kind of tick off elements of your mission through all of those different little pockets of work, isn't there? Which is fab.
Yeah. I mean, my mission is to have like what I do, what I say, my work, so to speak, to be accessible to all.
Yeah.
So not everybody can or are in the position right now to work with me one-to-one. So I have the podcast, I speak on my socials, and I also then offer a free course called Kick Anxiety's Butt, which soulfully kick anxiety's butt.
Oh, you see, right. So you've done something brilliant there, and so that I've been talking about recently about owning your character, like just genuinely being you, like that just shouts at you. That I love it. I love that you have just gone all in with, right, this is going to be kick-ass, like I'm not messing.
Yeah, because
That is your approach.
I hid for a while, and I hid the real parts of me because I really felt that because I was a coach and a therapist and a business owner, I should be acting, talking, looking a certain way.
Yeah, oh my God, we all do this, don't we? Why do we do it?
They're rather inappropriate sometimes. I love an innuendo and I love a good swear word. And I'm a bit of a potty mouth. And I'm a bit erratic and off the wall. So, that's a really big part of me. And why was I hiding that?
Yeah. And you know what? There are so many people out there who have got those characteristics who will not align with the masked version of you, of like trying to be all proper, because they don't want to work with someone that they're going to feel uncomfortable around, do they? So that is how you're going to magnetize those ideal clients, isn't it? Exactly. It takes a little while to get to that, doesn't it? It does take a while to let yourself do that.
It does, yeah. To let yourself be seen and heard for the real, authentic you, warts and all, the flaws and all, whatever you want to call it. But they're not really flaws, are they? They just, they're parts of you.
Exactly. They're elements of your character, aren't they? So yeah, when we do our trainings, we've got this picture of like, those massive layer cakes with all the different colours that are like just heaven. And we talk about, people being made up of these layers, and that's the important thing, that you actually dare to show each and every one of those, because actually each one of those will appeal to someone out there in your ideal client audience. And if you miss some of them out, you're going to miss out the real juicy bit about you, the real bit that's really going to make them connect with you. And I think we've all been trained a little bit, haven't we, in terms of maybe from our corporate world, maybe from our childhood, that you don't share all, you don't give all, like you've got to hold a bit back. It's not the right thing to do, to go out and just be unadulterated you. Like, you're not supposed to do that, but we've kind of had to retrain ourselves, haven't we? That actually, my God, that's exactly what you need to do now. Like, that's who we need to be.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I think that comes for me, from childhood, like being very outgoing and wanting to be seen and heard, wanting to be on stage and dancing and doing gymnastics.
Yeah.
And then I was ridiculed by people for that. And it made me go into a shell of a person. And I've also experienced abusive relationships where people don't want me to shine.
Yeah.
So, I've had my character dampened and my spirit's crushed. I would go that far. Yeah. I was crushed. And it's taken me quite a long time to rebuild that part of myself and feel safe in the world being me.
Yeah.
Because all of my life I have not felt safe just being myself.
Yeah. And that's something that we do see with a lot of our clients, especially ones that have been through trauma and that have suffered massive anxieties, and the feeling that they've been forced down a certain path because of their response to something that's happened to them. And it's awful to think, isn't it, that, you've lived so much of your life not really as you, and you've had to hide. And I think that's one of the reasons why I love the power of PR, when you really get behind it, because to be able to sort of give you this lease of life again is like the real you, and to share that out there in a way that you can feel really proud, and you can actually feel really passionate about being that person, and 100% wholeheartedly. It's a gorgeous part of the process. So let's just tell people a little bit about your story. And we've had this conversation, and it's really hard to get your story into a nutshell. It is so hard. There's so much. But I just want you to share, like, why you've ended up doing this work, like why this is something that means so much to you, how that connects to your story.
So really, in a nutshell, I've just touched upon, like, I was sort of bullied at school. When I hit my teenage years, I was full of social anxiety. And then comes in like the romantic side of life. And I was questioning my sexuality as well. I'm like, so I am bisexual, and I'm very proud of that. And it's actually Pride Month. June is Pride Month also. And so I was exploring that. So I was like, I was battling with these feelings. I was battling with this constant anxiety about not feeling safe in the world, not feeling safe in social situations. Are these people going to ridicule me? And I turned to alcohol and drugs. I smoked crack cocaine from a young age. I went straight in hard. And
they're messing around.
no messing about. That's me all over. Go in. But, it's no laughing matter. I was doing that from a young age because it was escapism. Yeah. And what happened was I was actually able to be me. It was a mask. It was a confidence booster. It's intermittently stopped the anxiety.
Yeah.
And, the anxious cycle is you mask the anxiety, and then what you're doing is you're actually deepening your anxious feelings. Anyway, this continued for a long time. I had really good highs. I had good jobs. I ran businesses from when I was...
thing. You were functioning, highly functioning, weren't you?
High achiever, high functioning.
Yeah.
But I had this kind of secret life of drugs and alcohol.
Yeah.
And then it became not so secret. And, it was like the wheels of my life slowly fell off, and I became less and less functioning. And the trauma and the relationship breakdowns, the abuse, it just, kept affirming that I was not good enough. I just kept having these layers and layers and layers of, I don't fit in this world. I don't belong in this world. I'm not good enough. I don't deserve anything. Right. Those are, my limiting beliefs. And it took me to a very dark place. And I tried to commit suicide on several occasions. And I did try to hang myself once. And I slipped and I was like, actually, I don't want to. I just wanted to escape from.
So scary.
Yeah. I am lucky to be here. Well, I don't call it luck. I think it's a purpose.
This is the thing. And your story really makes me believe that. It really, really makes me believe that.
And to kind of cut it down a little bit, this was a cycle. Doing well, crashing down, doing well, crashing down, in and out of different relationships. All relationships were toxic. I was toxic. I'm not a victim. I was toxic. I was projecting all my anger, my toxic thoughts about myself onto the world. And no wonder I was having a hard time, because outwardly, because inside I was in pain, turmoil.
Yeah.
And it led to the kind of penultimate life-changing event was when I really, really, really wanted to die. And I did a good job on myself, but not quite good enough. And I ended up being sectioned in a psychiatric ward for a considerable amount of time. And in that space, I didn't want to be here. I was still angry. I was here. I looked in the mirror. I didn't even know who I was. And then I found this white feather in my room. I decided I would have a wash that day. I would try and eat something. They just pumped me full of medication. I was just a zombie.
Yeah, you had no idea what was going on.
No, it was an awful experience, but also
frightening.
Yeah, it was amazing in a way, because it was the rebirth.
Yeah.
And I found this white feather on top of my book of Alcoholics Anonymous. I was like, how the hell does that get in here? Because everything's closed. There's no nothing. Everything's plastic. So I saw this, and I believed in spirituality anyway from being a kid, and knew about holistic methods and knew about spirituality. I was a Reiki teacher, believe it, or not, by this time. And something that then was a hobby became my full-time passion. So, but in this hospital, I had this awakening. I had a shift, and I always get goosebumps whenever I talk about this, because it was an awakening. I call it divine intervention or whatever. And something shifted. It was like a jolt in my body, and like something popped, and I just sobbed, and I sobbed, and I sobbed, and I sobbed like I'd never sobbed before. And from that moment, I looked in the mirror and I promised myself in the mirror I wouldn't give up again. And I had these qualifications, I had these skills. I couldn't afford to feed my kids. I had 2 little children at the time. I had zero money. I had an old massage bed in my cupboard. And I decided that I was going to turn my hobby into a money-making business. And I never looked back. And my business was born from my lounge. And I then progressed to a little garden shed in my back garden, the healing shed. and I was healing alongside helping other people heal.
Yeah.
And I started to open up a little bit about my story and give people some advice, because they seemed to be opening up to me. And I was like, do you know what? I've got something here. And people are like, oh, so, it's you're so much more than just doing my nails. You're so much more than just like having a massage. And I thought, I want to help people. I want to help people. I want to give back what I've learned from
absolutely. Yeah.
And that is my mission. My mission is to give back what I've learned, so people can understand that suicide is a very permanent solution to a temporary problem. And this is like the magic of recovery, is that you can create a beautiful life for yourself no matter what you've been through.
Yeah.
You're never going to stay in that same spot. But you've got to want it. You've got to want it, and you've got to be resilient, and you've got to be consistent.
Yeah.
You've
got to be brave, haven't you? Because it takes a lot. Like, obviously, when you've been in such dark places, to relive that is not something that you're going to be wanting to do like freely and readily, because there's so much trauma there, isn't there? But I think what we found with clients who have got this passion and purpose fueled business, you've got it because you are literally driven to do it. Like, there is no choice in you, is there? That this is just what you have to do with your life now. This is your absolute purpose. And I just think connecting to that in such a powerful way helps other people see that there is this light at the end of the tunnel, that there is this other way. And the way that you communicate it so beautifully, and the way that you're so strong and so powerful in your message, I think really does offer that like beacon of hope of, do you know what? This is very real. This is what I was like. You don't like pussyfoot around it. You don't tart it up. You'd literally tell the reality of this was really freaking horrendous. Like, this was a horrendous time of my life. And to know that you've been there and to look at you now is just incredible. And for me, that's the job that PR does. It brings that hope. It brings that inspiration. It shows people that actually the steps that they can take as well. Because I think people feel so lost, don't they, when they're in that really bad, lonely place, and anything that you can do to get to them is just so powerful. And I think with media, people can pick that article up at any point, can't they? They could pick it up if they're sobbing in their bedroom. They could pick it up if they're sat depressed in the doctors. There's so many ways you can reach people that you could never really plan for. And I think I love that about the way that you've been really brave with your story and putting your story out in the press, because I just feel like you're out there in this way where people can get your help whenever they need it.
Yeah. So then after like starting then the business, and then it evolved into coaching. Yeah. I want to train as a life coach. I want to do this properly.
Yeah.
And then I was like, well, how can I reach more people? And then I came across you online. I can't even remember how we connected, but
might be through Danny, maybe. Like, did you come to Be Inspired?
No, not yet.
Going back. Oh, okay. I thought you were one of those early ones. Okay, no, it wasn't through that then. We were in each other's world somehow, weren't we? Yeah.
Yeah. And then so I was like, I always thought that, you had to be extra special to be in the news or like some sort of celebrity, but that was just something that I believed that wasn't true.
Yeah.
And then once I started talking to you, talking to PR, I was like, oh, wow, I didn't realize how far and wide I can actually spread my mission and my message with the power of PR. The Metro article.
Oh, God, yeah.
That, homeless woman addicted to crack opens up her own wellbeing business. And that's just like, yes, that's awesome.
It was hard hitting, wasn't it? And that's the thing. When you're prepared to be so honest, you're going to get the attention that deserves. And the shock tactics, yes, they can be a bit crass sometimes. But you know what? They're going to get people to read that article, aren't they? And they're going to make people take notice.
Yeah. So when I opened the doors to PR, it was a bit scary.
Yeah.
But I absolutely love it now, because it just means that I have a bigger platform. The more people I can reach, the more people I can help, the more I'm fulfilling my mission.
Yeah, exactly.
And my mission is to help as many people as I possibly can realize that they can create a life that they love.
Yeah.
They don't have to stay stuck in anxiety, addictions, and rubbish, toxic relationships.
Yeah. And I think what I've loved seeing about how you do it is we've done it through a real mixture of, yes, sharing your story, and yes, really, you know, finding a way to communicate that story in a way that you're comfortable now, in a way that you're almost detached from it as much as you can be, and using it as part of your mission message, using it as part of your armor and your toolbox to support other people. But what I also love is that we've been able to kind of balance that with sharing your knowledge and lots of different elements of your knowledge, from the holistic side to the coaching side. There's so many bits that you can sort of dip into, isn't there, from the well-being and mental health side. And so I think the more that you can keep to do that, the more you're amplifying your power and your reach by just expanding the breadth of what it is that you're talking about. And I do encourage clients to obviously to keep very close to their mission and their message, and to have as close a niche as possible. But I think in your situation, you've got this overarching message, and actually there's just lots of things within that, underneath it, that you can share that is just going to continue to help people find a way out.
Yeah. Well, I've got 2 book collaborations under my belt now.
Yeah.
Metro Twice, Authority Magazine.
Yes, which is a fabulous global one.
To Entrepreneur article. What was the other one? Chat Magazine, talking about mental health.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's loads of stuff. Been on the radio lots of times, which I love. I love doing media. And this is part of my mission now, is to actually bring me into the media a lot more. I love being interviewed. I love interviewing people. I love being on film and on radio.
Yeah. So, and I've seen your confidence grow in this. And this is really interesting, because back at the beginning, you were, like you said, you thought PR was for celebrities, you thought PR was for bigger businesses, or like, you know, people further on in their business. And when we started to get under the skin of it and realize, God, no, we need people like you. We need these real human stories. We need people to be honest and to be, you know, open. And I think it gave you a little bit of freedom to kind of go, oh, it's all right if I'm going to be me. Actually, the media will like that. And I think it's been dead interesting to see you step into yourself. And like we said at the beginning, like really believe that it's okay now to show up as you. And I feel like I've seen some of your imposter syndrome around showing up diminish at the more PR you've done. Is that fair?
Yeah, it's definitely helped me with imposter syndrome. It's definitely helped with my confidence. And it's kind of like gave me permission in a way to shout louder.
Yep. Because you know those opportunities are there, don't you? Now you've got the tick of the journalist going, oh my God, I'm really interested and fascinated in this story, and I want to give you a platform. You kind of look back and go, all right, well, that actually went really well. Me putting myself out there was really well received. It's not anything bad. It's not anything negative. It's not anything scary. So maybe I should do more of this. And then it's self-fulfilling in a good way rather than in a bad way.
Yeah, but I definitely like the support. I'm not that keen on doing the PR for myself because it's the wording.
The positioning.
Time, positioning. So that's why I'd rather work with yourselves to get my message out there. You know where to put it.
Yeah.
So, that's a delegation of mine.
Yeah, that's a choice. You could do it. You do know how to do it now if you want to do. That's just a choice thing. But also, you know, that, let's be honest about that. That is something that people do find difficult in terms of actually putting themselves out there. From that third party perspective, it is much easier for us to be that champion and cheerleader for you. And now you're at a point where you're ready, you're press ready, then it makes our job so much easier as well. So I guess let's just wrap up by thinking about what advice you might give to people. So obviously on this podcast, I'm trying to encourage people to believe that PR can be for them no matter what stage they are at in their business. And I really want people to connect with this idea that it's important for them to get their story out there, and that the power of that is something that just can't be underestimated. So what would your advice be to people who are still a little bit nervous about taking these steps?
Okay, so nerves can feel the same as excitement, right?
Yeah.
In the body, the chemical reactions and that. So being a coach who helps people with anxieties and fears, I know how this works myself and coaching people through it. So you go push past those fears. Do it anyway, because if you keep saying no and retreating back to your safety and comfort zone, good luck staying there, because that's what you're going to say. You need to step forward and be brave, however scared or intimidated you feel. Once you get past that, and it's like an addiction, once you get past that and you're like, yeah, oh my God, this feels good. This feels good. Yeah, I'm actually finally getting recognized for something that I've done for years, for something that I do, and I do it well.
Yeah.
It is such a confidence boost.
Yeah.
And almost like a validation, because you're like, I'm finally getting seen for what I do. And if you're watching other people get these press things, I'm not talking about comparison or anything. I'm talking about what's the difference between them and you. You're taking the step forward they are, even though they're scared. And that was what was holding me back. Was holding me back by not taking that step forward. And if you don't feel confident, do it with somebody else first. Have that cheerleader in your corner helping you, and then go it alone.
To be done.
That first step is the most important step, and it feels amazing.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's such a nice message to get across, that, you were scared, like you did feel that fear, but you did it anyway. And now you're riding high on the after effects of that being a really positive experience. And that's the same, isn't it? It's the same with when you first do a first speaking gig. I know you're speaking at an event this weekend, and the first one of those that you do, my God, those nerves, like they're so borderline in terms of I'm terrified and I'm excited, but then how you're going to feel after that, you're going to feel incredible.
Well, I started calling myself a speaker, so then speaking things come in.
Yeah, exactly. You brought it on yourself.
Yeah, I know. I've decided what I want to be, who I want to be, and where I want to be. So I start showing up as that person. I call myself that person, and then that work then comes to me.
Yeah, absolutely. It makes so much sense. Oh, thank you so much, Jen. It's been I could talk to you all day, because I just feel literally every time I talk to you, it inspires me in a different way to just reflect on what you've achieved, what you've overcome. Like, it just makes me realize what is possible. And I think we had that conversation in your podcast where I was talking about my imposter syndrome. And really, when I look at it, I was like, what the hell have I got to be like faffing around about? Do you know what I mean? I don't have this level of trauma to come over. Like, I just need to get out of my own freaking way. And then when you realize that, I think it puts things into perspective. So I thank you so much for being so open and so honest about your story. And we'll pop your links in so that people can come and follow you, because you've got so much value to share. So we love being a part of your PR journey, and can't wait to see what we do next.
Thank you for having me.
You are so welcome. Take care and speak to you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Wow, what an incredible lady. Jen is one of our clients who just literally gives me goosebumps whenever we retell her story, whenever we do PR for her, and whenever we see in print just exactly what the hell she's been through and what she's overcome. I just find it extraordinary. And she's just so open, as you've heard, in terms of sharing her story and using it to inspire other people. So I hope you really found that episode valuable in terms of helping you reflect and actually think about the power of connecting to your story and of being prepared to really think about others and think about why others might need to hear what you've got to say, and sort of take hold of that responsibility, because it is a responsibility. When you've come out the other side, when you've proven that you're here for a reason, as indeed Jen has, and she shared, how she believes that she's got a true calling, that, this means something. This means something for other people that are out there. So I just want you to take a little bit of time on the back of this episode to just reflect and think, who might be out there that needs you? Who might be out there that needs to hear what you've got to say right now? And just, I hope that gives you something to think about and something to reflect on and something to help you take action, because you've got to take action to become a PR powerhouse. I know you can do it. I know you're here to do it. But we've got to put some steps in place. So what are you going to do this week that takes you that little bit closer to being that PR powerhouse who is making a difference with their work? I'll leave you to think about that. Have an incredible week, and I will see you soon. Take care. Bye.
Thank you for listening to PR Powerhouse with me, Jo Swan. If you want to feel empowered and supported and excited about getting in the press, come and join us in our free community over on Facebook at PR You Can Do It. I would absolutely love to see you there so I can help you take those next steps to getting in the media.